Hello, I am Yadasa Turusa, a creator of this particular YouTube video channel and a presenter of this YouTube video. Thank you for watching my YouTube video and attending my presentation. This YouTube channel provides a practical and realistic guide for those interested in conducting research. Once again, I would like to say thank you for your stay with me. Now, let's go into the presentation. There are some issues that make research proposal and final research report different. One of those differences are the way it is written. In a research proposal, in most cases, it is written in future tense, while in research report, it is written in a past tense or present tense. This is because research proposal is nothing. It is the document which tells us what we are going, what we would, what we are going to do, how to do, when to do, what materials we have to use in order to undertake our research. But when you talk about the final report, it is simply the document which, or it is a report which is documented. It is a report which tells us what have been already done, how it has been done, what findings are obtained, what recommendations are forwarded. So here there are examples. For example, look at the example in a proposal. It is written in future tense. Is read as a study will serve as a guideline to project implementers, stakeholders to establish best monitoring and evaluation practice so that the community service projects will be successful. But in case of final report, is written either in past tense or present tense. It is read as the study can serve as a guideline to project implementers, stakeholders to establish best monitoring and evaluation practice so that the community service projects will be successful. This is what should be known clearly by researchers. Now we move together to contents and contexts of research proposal and our final research report. The research proposal and the research reports are different, as I've already mentioned. Now, these are the outlines for both of them, but there is a place where issues or components are excluded, especially in the case of proposal. The first part of the contents of the research proposal and research report is the preliminaries part. In the preliminary parts, there are such as issues such as abbreviations and acronyms, acknowledgement, table of contents, list of tables, list of figures, abstracts. These are what's written in the preliminary. Preliminaries, not the main part, not the main body of the research. Now let us see them or discuss on them each by one by one. Let us start with abbreviations. Now, abbreviations and acronyms, when we say, they are not the same, by the way. Abbreviation is when a word is shortened, like, say, doctor. When you write doctor, D-O-C-T-O-R. Rather than writing this, you can shorten by writing capital D and R and full stop, or maybe another example is, for example, when you write professor, rather than writing or scribing all those letters, you can write P-R-O-F and full stop or period, so that you can shorten that way. But when we take acronyms, it is, of course, it is shortened way of writing words or phrases, but you should shorten it by their initials. For example, UNESCO. You know what UNESCO is? UNESCO stands for United Nations Education, Science, and Culture Organization. So in order to write this, you take the initial of each word and shorten it. So there is a difference between these things. Another is acknowledgement. By the way, acknowledgement is included in a proposal because in a proposal there is no one whom we or who we acknowledge, because we didn't complete as such. It is simply a plan that we do specifically by sitting in our office. Of course, when we talk about the proposal, it does not mean you simply sit down and write. Of course, you have to visit, you have to see things, you have to discuss with people, you have to take advices, you have to read books, literature, and so on. Anyways, but it is rare to have those people who we are going to acknowledge. Table of contents for both of them should be there. List of tables and a list of figures, it is optional for proposal because we don't have as such a list of tables in a proposal. Abstract is excluded in a proposal because abstract means executive summary of a research document or a research report. The next one is introduction. By the way, there are about 4 or 5 chapters in a research report, specifically in research reports. These are introduction, and chapter 2 is literature. The third one is methodology. The fourth one is data analysis and interpretation, and the fifth one is summary, conclusion, and recommendations. Of these, in proposals, there are two. The first three can be found also in a proposal. Of course, data analysis and interpretation and summary and conclusion are not there in the way we do in a research report. Now, let us discuss on the introduction. The introduction has subtitles and read. The first one is rationale or background of the study. Then, next of that is statement of the problem. Next to that is basically questions or hypothesis or hypothesis reason. Some researchers use basic research questions only, but some researchers also include hypothesis, and there are also, of course, in rare case, those researchers who use both research questions and hypothesis. Next of basic research questions or hypothesis is objective of study. You know, it is known that objective study has two parts, the general objective and the specific objectives. The next one is significance of study. After significance of study, scope or delimitation of study comes. Limitation of study is optional. That means some researchers use it, the others do not use it. When you talk about optional, by the way, if your advisor, especially as a student, if your advisor or supervisors orders or tells you to include it, you can include. Or if it tells you to omit it, you can omit. Anyways, you have to use the guideline and what your advisor and or supervisor wants you to do. Next comes definition of operational and or technical key terms. Operational and technical key terms are not the same, by the way, even though they sound similar. When you talk about definition of operational key terms, it is more on the application of the word. How do we apply that word? When we talk about definition of technical key terms, it refers to the aspect of explaining, just simply explaining or describing that term. It is like what the dictionary, in the way the dictionary tells us, in the dictionary put it when we talk about it. So even though it seems synonymous, there is a bit difference among them. Which one of the two we use? In depending on the format we are given, or depending on the guideline we are given, or depending on what our advisors ordered us or want us to do. Another one is organization of the study. This is the chapter outline, specifically in research report, we show what's the outline or what all our research report encompasses. By the way, as research is a science as well as an art, there is no one way of undertaking research. The format we use, the outline we use, might differ from place to place, from institute to institute, from researcher to researchers. So you should not necessarily stick to what I've presented to you here. The second chapter in a research proposal and a research report is review of related literature. This is optional, specifically optional in a research proposal. As I've said, optional, you say, it depends on the guideline you are following. The third one is research design and methodology. In research design methodology, the first one is research design and its approach. Here also there are different ways of presenting. You should not necessarily follow this one as it is. It depends on the guideline you are given. Anyways, more of some of them are these things that are included in research design methodology. Research design and approach, and then sources of data. Then comes samples and sampling techniques. Next of that is data gathering tools and procedures. Next of that is data organization, presentation, and methods. And then reliability and validity, credibility and trustworthiness. This is optional and conditional. Optional and conditional, when I say some researchers tell us, or scholars tell us that reliability and validity go with quantitative research, when credibility and trustworthiness go with qualitative research. Anyways, the objective of this video specifically is not to elaborate what it is here. We will see each of them in other videos that I'm going to prepare for you. Anyways, this is simply to show the outline. The next one is ethical considerations. This is also optional. The next one is data presentation, analysis, and interpretation comes. This is chapter 4 in a research report. Of course, chapter 4 and chapter 5, summary of findings, conclusion, and recommendations, are excluded from research proposal, because as this time, as the research, when we do research proposal, or when we produce research proposal, we didn't collect data. There is no data that we present, analysis, and interpretation, and also there is nothing that we summarize as findings, because of this, these are excluded or are not included there. Next to summary of findings, conclusion, and recommendations, there are appendices. These are timetable work plan, budget list, and reference or bibliography. Timetable, work plan, and budget list are optional in a research report, because in a research report we don't have to append this timetable, work plan, and the budget list as such. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Don't forget to subscribe it. I will see you in the other videos. Bye for now.